the Common amongst the other historic buildings. We take our responsibility very seriously, which can lead to intense discussion amongst our members and the few townspeople who occasionally attend our meetings, which are all open to the public. As the cover of our original report states, our role is, quote, honoring the past, preserving the future, unquote. As such, we recognize that the Historic District is not akin to a museum and must be reviewed in the present at all times. We have been working with the Elementary School Building Committee and the School Committee for a number of years regarding this site. For many years, we have supported the urgent needs of the school system by repeatedly extending the approval for the existing portables on the Batchelder site, long beyond the original plans, even as we deeply wish to see them removed. This is a recognition of reality and need. We have also worked with the various school boards regarding a series of proposed projects for the Batchelder School. Let me state quite clearly that the Elementary School Building Committee and this architectural firm have been a pleasure to work with. Tappé Associates has created a design that is far superior to anything we have seen in the past and is likely the best basis for such a project that could be brought forward. However, we also must face the fact that the proposed addition is quite large. It is large for the site, it is large in comparison to the original structure, it is large in comparison to the other buildings in the district. We recognize that a small school will not meet the needs of the school department, but that does not in and of itself make such a building desirable in the historic district. Nor does it automatically make it unacceptable, as some members do feel that a municipal building of this size and scope is appropriate. The Historic District Commission is a volunteer town body like many others. A varied group of individuals serve as both voting and alternate members. The breadth of opinions regarding this project is great, as one might imagine. Contrary to what you may be thinking, we see this actually as a strength. It ensures that options are reviewed fully and carefully, and that all sides of an argument are heard. Spirited debate ensures the town will likely get the best possible outcome from such a process, by caring yet diverse people and views. To be sure, the views of the Commission vary from strong support to strong opposition, with many people in the middle trying to enable a compromise. Such a compromise involves attempting to mitigate the scale of the project in the physical and spiritual heart of North Reading, through refinement of style and architectural details of the new construction. I'm sure many of you are looking to the Historic District Commission for our stand on this project. We wish we could give it to you at this time. However, we have a process that we must be careful to follow. This process is documented in our bylaw and is available to the entire public at Town Hall. An application must be filed with detailed information, including site plans, detailed construction plans, plot plans, and a statement of the proposed condition and appearance of the property after potential demolition. These plans must be stamped by registered land surveyors and architects. Much, but not all of this information is currently at hand. Once the application is complete and submitted, the Commission must schedule and hold a public hearing. We have waived this step for minor and uncontroversial work, but cannot for a project of this magnitude and significance. As a group, based on where we stand today, we decided a vote at this stage would have been inappropriate. Most members of the Commission feel we do not yet have enough detailed information to issue either a certificate of appropriateness or a certificate of hardship, the two possible positive outcomes for this project. As a Commission, we are not fully convinced that the project contingency budget is sufficient to cover potential detail and material changes that might be necessary for a building of this magnitude in the Historic District. I know that many townspeople see this project as an improvement to the site. In comparison to the existing structure, with the annex protrusion and the portables, it is easy to see how that feeling may arise. However, many on this Commission cannot see a project of this size and scope as an improvement. The only question is whether it is acceptable. Trying to ensure that the addition is subordinate to the original structure and not the other way around is at the forefront of our minds and the primary reason for caution over the contingency budget. We continue to work productively with the Elementary School Building Committee and their designated architect. Progress has been made over the course of the project and there is more work ahead. Refinement of the design is still under discussion, including examples such as windows on the elevator shaft, replacing the gray exterior material with something that might be more sympathetic, and perhaps most importantly, the roof. We are also interested in continuing discussions regarding the entrance and the arcade. At this point, we cannot say definitively where the road will lead. A majority of the board welcomes the opportunity to continue to work the design with the Elementary School Building Committee and their architect. It is important, however, that this positive atmosphere is not misconstrued to mean that a positive conclusion is guaranteed. If that were the case, we would issue a certificate now. Not until we reach a stage further down the road can we definitively state whether a compromise is workable. In closing, let me return to our charge. The Historic District Commission is here due to an active town meeting to protect and preserve this important and rare town resource. Alterations and additions must be taken with the utmost care to ensure we leave the proper legacy to our children and grandchildren. While no disrespect is meant to those here in the 1950s, I think we can all agree that building the annex was a mistake. Your Historic District Commission is working diligently to ensure similar mistakes are not made on our watch. As many of you know, there are two other significant proposals for large additions to existing properties in the district. Each will be viewed on its own merits and the effect it has on the site on which it sits and the overall district. As always, we welcome your participation in the process. All of our meetings are open and posted, and we invite everyone in this town to attend when interested. Please keep in mind that good people can disagree on the best path for this town to take into its future. I have tried to keep politics out of the deliberations of the HDC as much as humanly possible. I urge each and every one in this room to remember that the person you may disagree with vehemently probably loves this town as much as you do. The L.D. Batchelder School has been a centerpiece of this town since before most of us in this room were born. She has not been served well in recent years, but deserves our thoughtful and deliberate consideration so that she may well serve us into the future. Thank you for your time, and I now yield the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon. Ms. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. A few brief comments and then a few questions for the school committee. First, I would like to thank the Elementary School Building Committee and especially Jonathan Desimone for sticking with a thankless task for longer than most any of us have the right to expect. So regardless of, I think, how you look at this project, they deserve our thanks and appreciation for serving this town so well. I think their labors show well. The project is attractive from the outside. On the inside, having been involved with this for some years, it makes more educational sense than many plans that I've seen. However, I do think it has some limitations. Someone referred to selling the land at Swan Pond. I would encourage the town not, I know that's not the question on the floor, but I would encourage the town not to consider that. One limitation of the Batch project is that the 3 elementary school sites will be at their physical capacity. We can't see what's going to happen down the line. There are already a couple of 40B projects proposed, and it doesn't matter whether they're in the Batch district because students can be redistricted. What matters is whether our whole elementary system can take them. And I think for planning for the future, that land should either remain open space, as many of the proponents of renovating the Batch want it. We don't want to, open it up to more students and then create our own problem with nowhere to put them. But there are potential 40B projects outside the zoning, outside the build-out numbers, and we need to keep that into consideration as we go down the line. I guess I still have a few outstanding questions I've spoken about before, but if I could address them to the school committee or whoever is appropriate. First, I would like to make sure that of the relocation costs, it's been told to me before, the cost for the extra bus, and what I also see is potential revenue shortfall of the bus fees, because many of the Batchelder students will now live outside their 2-mile limit for paying bus fees, and we may have to, the school department may have to absorb a shortfall. I would like to make sure that all of those, be reassured here tonight, are in the project cost, not to be taken out of an already tight school operating budget. So that's one question. And I would also like to know if the additional modular units can be placed in time. And finally, I'd like to know if any progress has been made on the location and associated costs for the preschool classrooms that we were short on.
Anybody wish to? Mr. Venezia?
Again, as far as the cost for relocation, they have been incorporated into the $15.7 million. I think Jonathan explained some of that, and we are hoping and we anticipate that all those costs will be paid from that amount. There is a 10% contingency. There would be, Ms. Bailey is correct, there's probably going to be additional busing costs. We got to lose some revenue from busing fees, and there's a possibility that there may be an additional bus. All those details have not been worked out at this time. I think the question on the Batchelder modulars was, can we move them?
No, for new modular. I understand they take a year to be put in place. What will happen to the relocation plan in September? Will it take the whole year?
Well, again, I mean, we're talking from probably, if this were approved at a special election in November, we would do everything we could to get them in place for the start of school in September. I think Kyle has said that it takes 10 to 12 months. Dr. Probably want to explain that a little bit more. But it's between 10 and 12 months to get them signed and get them in place. Obviously, we'll try to expedite that if this project will pass the time, special election.
This plan is approved, the bachelor mods, we would begin to move them probably in the spring. Again, the 9 months to a year time is if you were out buying brand new mods. So we believe yes, on September. As far as the preschool, we need to relocate 50 to 60 young 3 and 4-year-olds from the middle school to some other facility, and we're still continuing to work on that.
Lady at the microphone, please state your name and address.
Just comment on one thing Dr. Trump said. I know Ms. Bailey had asked, and she knows the details of the plan. It does require one new modular unit that would be brought into the Hood School. So again, that is 1 unit, 2 classrooms that would be new, and would probably have to work expeditiously to get that site in time for school opening in September of '94.
Thank you, Mr. Venezia. Please state your name and address.
Ellen Clue, 121 Chestnut Street. Getting back to the questions that have been raised about the long-term enrollment projections, I wonder if someone on the school committee or on the building committee could comment about the wiggle room that might or might not be present depending on whether full-day kindergarten is implemented or not. I was involved in some of these planning issues as a former member of the building committee. So I wonder if someone could just clarify that.
Anybody has an answer to the question? Dr. Trogan.
Yes, in all of our building projects, we have planned at least one room that we've termed, for lack of a better term, wiggle room, to deal with those fluctuations. And also, among all of our 3 elementary schools, we're proposing to have 10 or 11 full-day kindergarten classes. Again, we don't see arriving at that number within a short period of time.
So if, in fact, we had a surge in enrollments, could that be somewhat accommodated?
Absolutely.
With the K?
Yes.
How many would those be in the system? System-wide over the 3 schools?
Between the extra room in each school, we also have planned some collaborative space as part of special education. It could be 4 or 5 rooms.
Thank you.
Lady at this microphone, please.
I just have a question about the relocation numbers. The meeting at the Hood School, it was mentioned that the 5th graders would all be put from the batch into the modulars in the middle school. There was talk that maybe 25 kids from the Hood 5th grade and the little 5th grade would be taken out of their student body and also put in to round up the number to 100. I just wondered if that was still part of the plan.
No, it's just, the plan right now calls for moving 3 sections of 5th graders from the Batchelor School to the middle school without relocating any of the 5th graders so either the Hood or the Little. But it sucks to be 4 to 1.
Mr. Sylvia.
And if they're run home.
Mr. Sylvia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Please state your name and address.
Al Sylvia, 20 Francis Street. I don't know, I think that the numbers, moving these kids around, I think a little on the low side. However, more importantly, I would like to bring up what really is in the future for North Reading. Now, there are many people that have expressed their dissatisfaction with the town